Air Canada says its bookings for U.S. routes are down roughly 10% from a year ago, with tensions between Ottawa and Washington being blamed. The company's president and CEO, Michael Rousseau, spoke to CNA's Yasmin Jonkers on the sidelines of a major aviation industry gathering in New Delhi. Now, she also asked him about his country's testy relationship with India and whether that was impacting business.
I think the relationship between the two countries are getting better. And so you're absolutely right. For a while, it wasn't as positive as we would like. That hurt us to some degree. And of course, the inability to fly over Russia has hurt us as well from the our Vancouver destination, our Vancouver hub. So we're flying 10 times a week right now, to Delhi. And, we'd like to fly more. And we think in time, as Canada diversifies its trade and reestablishes a positive relationship with India, then we'll be able to do that.
The other testy relationship, of course, you have is with the United States. Tell us about the impact of cross-border tensions and tariffs on cross-border demand and how that also affects you refreshing your fleet.
Okay. So complicated subject, tariffs.
You can take it slow.
Yeah.
Break it down.
Yeah. So one is the cost side. So the increases to airplanes and or parts, and we're not seeing much of that right now. And there's ways to mitigate that to a large degree. We'll see how that matures over the next little while. The one that's taking a lot more attention is the traffic, the flow of traffic between Canada and the U.S. And our bookings have been impacted by about 10%. Which is not a lot. Business travel is still very strong. And that 10% is primarily leisure travel. So travel to Florida, Vegas, Arizona, California to some degree. And we're seeing in the last couple of weeks that become a little bit better. Still negative. But again, the U.S., we're so well diversified. The U.S. is 22% of our overall revenues. And so 10% of 22% is only 2%. And so that's how it's affecting us. And what we're finding are Canadians, if they don't want to fly to the U.S., are going to fly domestically for their vacation or fly to Europe. And those are the other two big markets that we operate in.
Why do you think there's been that improvement in cross-border flights?
It's a good question. Now, to further the information, what a lot of people, the media focuses on is the traffic on the road is what's down much more. It's down 40%. So people are not taking day trips or taking vacations with a car to upper state New York or upper state Vermont or Washington, but they are flying for the most part. And again, it's starting to improve. Again, it's just happened the last couple of weeks. I think after a while, the tension level just comes down, the temperature comes down. We have a new government in Ottawa. It appears to have developing a better relationship with the U.S. government, and I think that's all positive.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that question. Mark Carney's leadership, what has it done for Air Canada?
Well, it's early days yet. He is very business oriented, which is good for growth, for opportunity. He wants to reduce regulations and red tape, which is good. But what he wants to do is two things. He wants to eliminate trade barriers between the provinces. And he wants to diversify trade away from the United States, which is always a good thing because roughly three quarters of our exports go to the United States. And so if trade barriers come down within Canada and we start diversifying trade to other countries in the world, that's good for Air Canada because that's economic growth and we've got a lot of planes coming on our delivery schedule in the next couple of years. So we'll take full advantage of that economic activity.
But we were talking with a few other, of course, airline bosses, some of whom have more patience waiting for the plane. Some are outright, no, this has to come right now. Where do you stand?
Probably somewhere in the middle. I mean, we're frustrated as well. We have two key fleets, our Airbus 321 XLRs. Incredible plane, very important to us, great range. It'll do Europe year round. It'll do transcontinental. That's almost 2 years late. We'll get our first one in January, Q1 of next year. So we're looking forward to that. And then our 787-10s, Boeing planes, we just ordered them last year, and they're already, a bunch of them are, some of the orders already late. And so that affects our international growth to some degree as well. We'll manage through that, but I prefer to have the planes than wait, basically. And the demand's there for the planes, and so I would say maybe I'm even a little more on the frustrated side, but frankly, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, Boeing, all the CEOs are talking to Boeing. Boeing has to make a lot of changes. They're making those changes. They're getting much more positive. They produce good planes. They just need to, there's major supply chain issues affecting both OEMs.
Okay, final question for you. We've talked about India. We've talked about your domestic growth. How's the recovery on your China routes since the lifting of the 2022 limit last year?
Okay, so there's still a limit, but it's not as high as it used to be. We have a bilateral, Canada has a bilateral with China. Pre-pandemic, that was 76 flights a week, roughly. It's currently capped at 14. So we're doing 12 or 13 flights a week. And the Chinese carriers are also doing flights to Canada. I would say it's slower than expected. And it was a very good market pre-pandemic. I think it'll become a good market, but it's going to mature at a different pace than what we've seen the rest of the world mature.